Have you ever felt drawn to dragons or sensed a powerful ancient energy supporting you on your spiritual path? Well, today's conversation is going to open your heart and awareness to a whole new level of spiritual guidance. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny Show, where we explore spiritual wisdom, healing, and transformation to help you take charge of your destiny. I'm Rae Calnan, founder of Radiant Angel Energy and a spiritual guide and healer, helping you reconnect with your divine presence and create a life of purpose and fulfillment through angelic Reiki, guided meditation, and intuitive journeys across past, present, and future lives. Now, the meaning of angel is messenger, and destiny means to make firm or establish. And each week, my guests and I bring you messages to help ground divine wisdom into your everyday life. Now, in today's episode, I'm joined by Vivyana, also known as the Dragon Mystic, and we're talking about how dragon spirit guides support spiritual awakening, intuition, and personal evolution. Dragons are appearing in the awareness of many people right now, and today we'll explore why, what they represent, and how their energy works alongside the angels. Now, V is an international best-selling author, oracle creator, and spiritual mentor who has channeled guidance from over 100 dragons. Through her book, Dragon Wisdom, and her Dragon Connection coaching, she helps spiritually awaken souls, deepen intuition, trust their soul path, and connect with the wisdom of the dragon realm. So, without further delay, hello, Viviana, and warm welcome to the Angels and Destiny Show. How are you today?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm wonderful. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a really long time, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Excellent. And to everyone watching, whether you're joining us live or watching the replay, we'd love you to be part of the conversation. Let us know what resonates. You can ask questions or share your own experience in the comments. Please don't be shy. And hey to you both. Teresa here. Hi, Teresa.
Hello, Teresa.
Good to see you. So, V, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how dragon spirit guides support intuition, healing, and spiritual evolution, and why so many people are sensing their presence now?
That is a really big question. So let me start with my spiritual journey, I guess. We talked a little bit about it before the show, but I had my first intuitive awakening in 2010, and it was really hard. I woke up one morning suddenly an intuitive empath for lots of reasons, but I didn't have any coping skills to manage the new energetic reality that I was in. And I kind of turned into a zombie for a little bit and didn't want to talk to anybody or see anybody. And that was when I first connected with my angel guides. So that was 15 years ago now. And I taught myself how to be a functioning intuitive empath. And then I went on this path of trying to to I guess heal myself, because one of the reasons why I had the intuitive awakening was because of a chronic back injury. And so I went on this healing journey, and that was mostly involving crystals and so I became a crystal healer, and I started teaching crystal healing to other people. And then I decided that I really wanted to create this online platform to help people to teach about crystals, about intuitive development, and all of the other metaphysical things that are in the world. And I started that when I moved to where I am now, which was 2017, and I'm now in Rossland, British Columbia. And I worked on that business metaphysical school for 7 years. And although it was this huge passion of mine and I loved it, I didn't realize until like 7 years in that what I had created was so big and so time consuming that it was energetically draining more than it was fulfilling. And so at that time is when dragons came into my life. So in the beginning of August 2023, I started seeing dragons everywhere. And they were all over my Facebook feed, and I wasn't in any dragon groups. So I had no reason why they were showing up in social media. And I started seeing dragon patterns and in abstract patterns like the tile floor or clouds. I would see dragons in the clouds all the time. They were showing up on TV. They were showing up in like vehicles that would drive by with dragon images or the word dragon on it. And I was like, why are all of these dragons showing up in my life? I don't understand. So after 3 weeks of this, I'm scrolling Facebook in like the middle of the night. I don't sleep all that well, and sometimes I scroll Facebook. I don't do it so much anymore. But anyway, this another dragon showed up on my Facebook feed, and I finally thought to myself, I wonder if there's a dragon spirit guide trying to connect with me. And nothing miraculous happened. And I was like, okay, well, guess not. But I did feel this incredible pull, this intuitive nudge to pick up one of the crystals on my headboard. So as I said, I'm a crystal healer, so the headboard on my bed is full of crystals. And there was this crystal that had been there for 2 years, and I hadn't really worked a lot with it. And it was this crystal, which I set into a necklace. So I wear it, very often. And so I picked up this crystal. It's called a Preseli bluestone. It's also known as Stonehenge stone because the inner ring of Stonehenge is made out of this stone from Preseli Hills in Wales. And I pick up this crystal in my left hand. And as soon as I did that, this really powerful energy and presence comes out of the crystal and into my left hand and up my arm into my heart, and then from my heart to my head to my toes. There's this huge energetic presence. And because I had been working on intuitive development for 13 years at that point, I knew that it was a female presence, and she was very strong. And I didn't know much else about that until I said, hello, who are you? And she said, I am the dragon crystal guardian of Preseli Bluestone. And I was like, okay. First experience with dragons, didn't know that dragons were actually real. I had fallen in love with dragons like as a teenager, like 13 years old, when I picked up my first Anne McCaffrey Dragon Riders of Pern book. And so I always thought dragons were fictional. And so I have read a lot of dragon fiction. And so I didn't know that dragons were real until I met and connected with the dragon crystal guardian of Preseli Bluestone. And that opened the doorway for me to connect with more dragons. And Ashara, the dragon crystal guardian of Preseli Bluestone, we figured out a name for her. She's my main dragon spirit guide. And that kind of started my dragon journey. And so you asked a lot of questions. That was the origin story. And then how do dragons help support us in healing, transformation, and our spiritual evolution? Well, what I've learned from connecting with over 100 different dragons is they are here as spiritual allies to help support our spiritual evolution specifically. That is their role, their purpose in connecting with humanity at this time. So humanity is going through this next level, this leveling up in spiritual evolution. And what I call it the Great Dragon Awakening. This is a time of huge expansion between connections of dragons and humans. And so that's why there's a lot more dragon fiction coming out. There's a lot of people who are feeling this deep pull towards dragons. And it's because the dragons are reawakening that connection between humans and dragons, specifically to help us and support us through this next level of spiritual evolution.
Yeah. And we were talking just beforehand, weren't we, about how this evolution has come about. You know, it started off with angels, then it went on to unicorns, and then because we now resonate with on a different level, it's gone onto dragons because people are kind of like accepting more of dragons now, whereas unicorns are still there, but they appeal to a different person and angels appeal to a different person, which is great because it means every single person who likes the different things gets on the spiritual path and is on that spiritual journey, because although they're a different energy, they're kind of like the same, aren't they, in a way?
Yeah, exactly. So having like being a person that has connected with both angels and dragons, from my perspective, angels have kind of a lighter or a higher pitched energy frequency. To me, they are generally they all of the angels that I've connected with, and I've connected with more than the 3 that I have as personal angel guides, but all of their colors always have an iridescent sheen to them. And they're generally like when you kind of think of angels, their energy kind of matches in that it feels uplifting and it feels ethereal. Whereas with dragons, it's a very different energy frequency. They have a much deeper or like bass like. It's a very resonant earth, like it's a very earthy
Mm,
actually frequency. Even though there are dragons beyond our earth, it's a very grounding frequency, and it's it has a deep resonance within the body. So when you connect with a dragon, there, for me at least, and many of the clients that I've helped connect with their dragons, there's this there's this like a deeper resonance within your body, and once you've connected with dragon energy, all of the other dragons will have that same kind of frequency. It's like knowing the difference between a human and an angel, right? The dragons have a very similar frequency to their energy, even though each dragon is going to have a different energy signature. There's this underlying, deep, resonant, earthy, grounding type of energy frequency to it.
yeah, which I think is what we need at this time, at this moment, because we need to be grounded, we need to be present, because of all these energies that are coming in, and we need that stability.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. And Teresa says, I love your enthusiasm, my dear dragon friend. You made me smile so vibrantly.
Nice.
And Jolene is here as well. Hi, thanks for joining us.
Hi,
Um,
Jolie.
and Teresa says, Anne McCaffrey's my first for my babies, and afterwards I found yours, which is just when I fell in dragon love with. Absolutely brilliant. And she also says that ethereal energies are my go-to, and holding my dragon amethyst, where that energy is so connected to my heart. And I've actually got a Roma Priscilli blue stone. I've actually got two.
Nice.
Um, and that's so I might just go back and see if there's a dragon hiding there. I've got my own dragon guide and that, but I might just go and see if there's another one lurking in my Priscilli Bluestone. You never know.
Nice. Well,
Re-
that's
re-
one of the ways that you can connect with at least dragon crystal guardians. There are many people who connect to dragons through crystals, and that's kind of what Dragon Wisdom, my book, is about and what it shares. It shares the messages that the dragon crystal guardians specifically want to share with humanity at this time. And so to connect with them, you can work with the crystal themselves to connect with that dragon. But there are lots of other types of dragons, in existence. There are other dragons that support Gaia. There are galactic dragons, multidimensional dragons, universal dragons. So there are more than just dragon crystal guardians. That's just the collective that I seem to be connecting with the most at the moment. So, yeah, there's lots of different ways to connect with dragons.
And I'm guessing that, with all the people you've worked with, the dragons that they connect with are also different as well.
Yeah. Yeah. every dragon is different, just like every person is different and has their own unique personality. So are dragons. Every dragon that I've connected with has an individual energy signature, but also an individual personality and background, and they're all different. And you can think of deepening your relationship with dragons like you would deepen your relationship with another person. It's relational rather than transactional, right? And so talk to them, ask them for guidance, ask them what they like, ask them, what they want to share with you. Ask for guidance when you need it, but like a make it a friendship. Treat your dragon just like you would treat another human friend that you have.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. So, what kind of transformations, can dragons help people with? Because it's like, oh yeah, I can connect with the dragon, but what's the dragon going to help me do?
That's an excellent question, and the answer to that is anything you want them to. So, from my perspective, dragons are here to support our spiritual evolution, but like, what does spiritual evolution even mean? And to me, that is the transformative journey of growth, enlightenment, and self mastery, where you align with your most empowered self, embody your highest potential, and integrate your soul's purpose into your everyday life. And when I started writing Dragon Wisdom, I had no idea what the book itself was going to be about in terms of theme. All I knew when I started writing was that I needed to share these deeply profound, often really simple messages from the dragons. They're kind of laconic, like they are beings of few words. But what I realized after about 40 chapters that I had written was that these dragons are here to help us with specific aspects of spiritual evolution, and each one shares their support in through these different aspects. And I have 108 aspects of spiritual evolution in the book alone, and they range from confidence, authenticity, courage, or self-care, self-love, healing, unity, forgiveness, gratitude, abundance. Like there's 108 of them. And so in the back of my book, I have a dragon dex, which is the index of the dragons. And one of the ways that you can look up, a different dragon or a specific dragon that you're looking for is through the different aspects of spiritual evolution. So if you pick up the book and you go to the back of the book, I'll just do it right now, is on one page, there's everything from discernment, divine feminine, empathy, personal empowerment, freedom, positivity, presence. Like whatever you might be looking for in your life in the moment is something that you can ask for dragon support for.
Wonderful. It's brilliant that they can be used, that you can ask for support, um, you know, for anything in your life. And do you think that that dragons are there to work for us or work with us, or are we're there to work for them?
In the dragon realms, there isn't hierarchy. So, this is another difference between angels and dragons. So, traditionally, angels have a hierarchical structure where there are guardian angels and archangels and orders and principles, and there's a hierarchical structure, whereas dragons, they don't have that, and they don't have hierarchy between dragons and humans either. We are all equal, and we are all worthy just the way that we are. And so when I talk about dragons, I don't talk about working for them. We work together. My dragons are my partners. They are my guides. They are supportive, but there isn't a hierarchy between dragons or between dragons and humans.
Yeah, that's my take on it as well. And for everyone watching, whether you're watching this live or the replay, if you've got any questions about dragons that you want to ask, please feel free to ask. And if you're watching on the replay, we will circle back to any questions in the comments. So, don't be shy. This is your chance for any information you want to know about dragons to actually ask. So if how can someone tell if a dragon's trying to connect with them? What are the early signs? How would they know? Do they have to approach, ask for a dragon to show themselves first, or would a dragon just come in, or is it a mixture of both?
When a dragon is trying to connect with you, a series of synchronicities is likely going to happen. And so, like for me, and what has happened with a lot of other clients that I've worked with, is dragons start showing up in your life in apparently random ways, numerous and random ways. So that's sign number one. But if you are curious about dragons as spirit guides, or you're wondering if you have one, that's a sign that one is trying to connect with you and you're already there. And so the next step after wondering, I wonder if I have a dragon spirit guide that's trying to connect with me, is being open to receive that connection in whatever way it's going to happen. And so, yes, you can invite your dragon in and say, I welcome any dragon connections. And if you're there, please show yourself in a way that I understand. And then just be open to what happens. And what happens next is going to be different for different people. Like for me, it wasn't the dragon started talking to me immediately. No, that wasn't what happened. I felt an intuitive nudge to pick up a crystal. And that's how I connected with dragons. For, another client of mine, she we were in an intuitive development Facebook group together, and she said, okay, so something is weird is happening here. The other day I looked down on the floor. The first thing she did was she had asked for guidance the night before, and then the next morning she woke up and there were 2 books on her floor with red dragons on the covers. And she didn't put them there. She has kids, but
Yeah.
And then she was like, and there was this piece of paper, like this ripped piece of paper that was on the floor that looked like a dragon wing. And I was like, this was your dragon trying to get your attention. And she had asked for a sign. She didn't ask specifically for a dragon sign, but she had asked for a sign. She had asked for guidance on what to do with her life next. And dragons showed up. And then she connected with me. She asked, is this a dragon? And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. And she's like, how do I talk to them? And so we kind of had this back and forth for a while. This was before I even started the dragon business as a business. And we had this back and forth, and I was like, okay, so what works for me is being quiet and settled before I go to bed or in the middle of the night when I wake up, and having a conversation with them like they're there, like a quiet meditation. And so a couple of weeks later, she's like, yeah, no, that's not working for me. And I'm like, no problem. There are other ways. And I said, how do you feel about tarot or oracle card decks? And she said, I love tarot. And I was like, excellent. Maybe look at the decks that you have and see if any of them resonate with you for talking with your dragon. And she comes back to me a week later and is like, oh my God, I'm talking to my dragon. And I used this deck. And she showed me the deck in there. It's a very red deck. And I don't even remember what it was called, but she was like, this is my dragon communication deck. And so she asks a question and she pulls a card and she's like, it's so clear. Like every message that like every card that I feel drawn to pick is such a clear message answering the specific question that I ask. And I'm like, there you go. You have your dragon connection method. And dragon connection is different for different people. I have another client who uses divination rods. I don't know if you know what those
Yeah.
are, but she asks her dragon questions through the rods, and she gets her answer. And some of us, we talk to them as a voice in our head, and every person is going to have a different way of connecting with their dragons.
Yeah, I mean, my dragon came in literally through a guided meditation. I was actually no, I was just seeing them, meditating as you do, and then suddenly it's like, "Hi, I'm there." And mine's called Fredo. Um, and it was like, "Oh, hello, you're there." So that's how mine came through. And I don't necessarily hear voices. It's kind of like I'll ask a question and I just know.
Mhm.
That's how I connect. And Teresa says that she just picked up her amethyst and felt like she can put this crystal down, feeling some warm in her hands. The energies are deep and really resonates with me and my dragon spirit. So so she's a crystal. So there are
Mhm.
so many different ways.
Yeah, so many different ways. So what you're talking about is claircognizance.
Hmm.
You ask an intuitive question and you intuitively know the answer. Exactly. So it depends on what your intuitive strengths are: clairvoyance, audience, sentience, claircognizance. There are others, but those are kind of like the main ones. And I work with your strength, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can I think everybody can develop all of their intuitive senses. And so we can start with the intuitive sense you feel the most strongly in, but you can always develop the other ones by working with your intuition. The more you work with it, the more you become receptive to energy, and the easier it is to interpret that energetic information into messages that you understand in whatever way that you receive it, whether through vision or sound or feeling or knowing, whatever it is.
Yeah, which kind of like brings on to the next thing. It's kind of like, we're talking about your intuition. That do people need to, be spiritually aware, know that they've already got intuition, or is it just something that everybody? So is it, special that you have these gifts, or is it just for anyone?
Intuition is innate. As human beings, we all are intuitive, and some of us, myself included, shut it down because of traumatic experience, whatever it is. Social conditioning is a big one. But even if you're at a place where you don't feel in touch with your intuition, all humans are intuitive. And what I think of it is as a skill. The more you work with it, the stronger it gets. Kind of like a muscle. and, and and so in order to develop that intuitive sense, all you need to do is work with it. And there are very simple practices that you can do daily that to build your intuition. One of them, the very simplest one, is talking to your body, because you are your body, and you can ask your body, what do you need today? What do you need to do today? What would you like to do today? And you might get a feeling or hear a word or see an image that means move or rest or breathe or whatever it is. But there are just simple exercises that you can do to build that trust in your intuitive senses so that you no longer question whether this is real or if it's my imagination. And all it takes is practice.
Yeah, and that is it's practice. And I think as humans, we tend to give up quite easily when we don't get something straight away, and sometimes it could be, weeks or months before it happens, but we just have to keep doing it every day.
Yeah, Exactly. There's, a lot of people think that they should be good at something when they first start it. And it's just like reading. Did Were you a very good reader when you first started? No, not really. Most people aren't. You have to practice. You have to do it every day to get better at it, and then it becomes normal and innate, and you don't even know you're doing it when you do it. It's the same thing with intuition. Is you just practice it and don't expect to be perfect at it when you first start, but know that it gets better. And there are practices that you can do to kind of keep track of how far you've come, which is something that I always tell my intuitive development clients or even my dragon connection clients is keep a journal so that you can look back and be like, this is tangible. This actually happened. Because what happens with intuition is we forget about it. It doesn't make intuitive messages don't encode in our memory like physical memories do. And so if you don't write it down, you tend to forget it. And if you forget all of your intuitive messages, how do you look back and think I've actually improved? You don't have a record of it. And so keep an intuition journal or a dragon journal. Most of my dragon connection clients, I tell, keep a dragon journal. I keep a dragon journal. Mine is here. Let's see if I can get it without making a big mess. Okay. So I have a tablet. My tablet is like my smartphone. I have this instead of a smartphone. This is where I have all my apps. And I have an app for it's called Trello. And that's where my dragon journal is. And so when I was connecting with dragons in the middle of the night, and I would learn about them and I would hear their messages and I would figure out what type of energy do they have and what are they here to share. Every time I was done having a conversation with the dragon, I would write it down in my dragon journal, in my tablet. And because by the morning, I wouldn't remember all the details. And so you can do this, you can have a dragon journal or you can have an intuition journal and you can track. And then you look back and you're like, wow, this actually happened and I'm actually getting better. And it actually helps with intuitive self trust and clarity and confidence, all of the things, just by writing it down.
Yeah, beautiful. And the beauty with the tablet is you don't have to switch the light on to get a pen and paper and write it.
That's right. Exactly. I actually started with pen and paper and was like, this is not a thing for me. So one of my dear friends, Megan Mary, she's a dream analyst. She's been on your show. And what she says is for your dream journal is to have a specific dream journal and write in the dark. And I tried that and I was like, this isn't working for me. I can't read it. And so I kind of I made that piece of advice my own and I have my tablet beside me like on the headboard and I have a dragon journal and I just open that app and that, you know, list of that specific entry and I just write the dragon journal entries as they come. And I still write in it.
Yeah, yeah, I have to admit, because I'm left-handed as well, when I write, obviously my left-handed people, we're not the neatest writers in the world, so trying to do it in the dark, it's an absolute nightmare because you have words going up and words going down, and it's like, yeah, I can't make any sense of this whatsoever. And Teresa says that she keeps a journal on her tablet um, as well. So, what do you think of all these programs that have been coming on recently about dragons? I mean, obviously we had Game of Thrones. That was a big one. What's your take on those?
I'm actually gonna my plan is to have a blog series on the differences between fictional dragons and dragons that I've actually connected with. So my own dragon experience. And so yes, there is this huge increase in dragon fiction in TV, in movies, in literature. And some of them have really, I want to say, resonant dragon aspects, and some of them really don't. Like Game of Thrones, no, I don't really resonate with the Game of Thrones dragon energy. I actually couldn't. I started reading the books and I got to book 4 and then I was like, I can't. Like, my favorite genre is fantasy novels and romantasy, and I couldn't get past the book 4 of Game of Thrones because the stories and the characters are just so cruel, and I was like, I can't. Like, I can't. So I haven't actually watched the Game of Thrones television show, but I asked my partner who did, what do you think of those dragons? And he's like, they're like horses that fly. They're weaponized horses that fly. And I was like, okay, well, that's not my experience with dragons. So I kind of want to have this whole series. The one I think is the closest is Anne McCaffrey's. There's this telepathic bond, and the dragons are partners, and they each have their own personality. And I think that's much closer. The new fiction, the really popular fiction, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, that's actually pretty close too in terms of the relationship between riders and dragons, although there is not the hierarchy. The dragons in Fourth Wing are very superior to humans, and that's okay too. Also not my experience, but that's okay. I really, really enjoyed Fourth Wing, and I'm looking forward to the 4th book that when it comes out. But yeah, there are differences, and each author and each television creator and movie producer, they're gonna have their own take on relationships between humans and dragons, and that's okay. What I recommend is consume the entertainment that resonates with you. I'm watching the How to Train Your Dragons TV series, and I love it. The difference between those dragons and my dragons is the dragons in How to Train Your Dragons are more like really, really intelligent, highly trainable dog companions that fly, and they don't have that telepathic bond with their riders, but I still love it. I'm still gonna watch the show. And everybody's experience doesn't have to be the same.
No, it doesn't. I've not watched the Game of Thrones, so I've not really. So I couldn't really tell you much, too much about it. So as you know, I do guided meditations and angel oracle cards, and each week I like to ask my guests whether they would like me to do a mini guided meditation or pull an oracle card for them. Now, as I know, you've been thinking about creating a deck, which has been in the back of mind for ages. Tell us about that, and then do a little thing for us with the Oracle deck that isn't an Oracle deck yet, but is an Oracle deck.
Okay, so I told you I started connecting with dragons in August of 2023. And by January 2024, I had connected with 40 dragons, and each one with their own energy and their own personality and their own message to share with humanity. And I thought to myself in January 2024, I really want to create an oracle deck sharing these messages with humanity. And I started writing the guidebook in February for that. And once I started writing, so much information came through for each dragon that it was way too much for an oracle card guidebook. But I didn't want to not channel the information because I had already opened that floodgate. And so what happened was I decided, okay, well, I guess I'm going to write the full-length book before I create the oracle deck. And that's what Dragon Wisdom turned into. So Dragon Wisdom has 64 Dragon Crystal Guardians, and each chapter has dragon insights, like their pronoun. Like, are they male or female? Do they identify as male or female, or neither? And their appearance, where they originate in the world, their dragon energy archetypes, and there's a whole other story about dragon energy archetypes. And then what's their message? What is the deeper wisdom behind their message? What does their energy feel like? What would you ask them to support you with on your spiritual journey? So each one of the chapters has this information, but that's also the information for the deck. And so I started giving dragon guidance readings based on the 64 dragon crystal guardians that are in the book and that will be in the deck. And so how we do those readings, because there isn't an actual physical deck to shuffle, is there's a spread. There's an oracle card spread, and each card has a specific purpose. And I ask the person that I am reading for, what number between 1 and 64 resonates with you for the purpose of this card, for the intention of this reading. And so the dragon guidance readings are these hugely synchronistic events, like sessions, that I'm always amazed at the messages that come through. So for our oracle card message, Rae, what number between 1 and 64 resonates for you for a number to share with the people who are going to connect with this show?
Okay, so as we connecting with those that are watching live and those that are going to watch the replay, 60.
60. Okay. Scrolling too far. Okay. 60 is, oh, I love this. 60 is Mira, the dragon crystal guardian of blue sapphire. And she is a female dragon. Her origin is India. Her relative age is mature, and there's a whole story behind relative age, but she's a mature dragon. Her appearance is cashmere blue, which is a specific shade of blue sapphire. Her dragon energy archetypes are wise, intuitive. So from my perspective, there are two flavors to wisdom. There's the feminine flavor of wisdom, which is intuition, and the male aspect of intuition is intellectual. So Mira's dragon energy archetypes are wise, intuitive, cosmic, and flowing. And her message to humanity is listen to the voice of spirit. I love that. So I can read to you the deeper wisdom of Mira's message, or we can maybe see what the angels have to say.
Yes, why don't we see what they've got to say? And for anyone watching, that if I was picking that for myself, that wouldn't be the number because I resonate with different numbers. But that was the collective number that came in. Although being a Virgo, that is my birthstone. But let's see what the angel.
Nice. See the synchronicities that
I
happen? We are
know.
talking about connecting with spirit, and the number that you chose for the episode is listen to the voice of spirit. I love it.
Exactly. So obviously, as when I do the cards, I do for what you need to know for you for in the present, because even though I work with the past, when I take people to the past, it's to heal, learn so that it doesn't affect them in the present. When I take people into the future, it's so they can see, understand, and know where the future is, so they're not worried about it and they come back to the present. So but it's being everyone who's watching this, live or the replay, need to know for their highest good the connection with the dragons. So let's see. We have got great adventure, take a risk, venture forward.
Nice.
And would you believe it? It's a Viking longbow with a dragon on the end of it.
Synchronicities.
Exactly. I just
How
love
many dragons are in that deck, right?
yeah, there is there isn't actually any dragons in this in this deck, but
And what
we
deck are
have
you using?
I'm using the Sacred Travel Oracle cards by Denise Lim.
Yes.
So, so the message is, uh, you know, take a risk, venture forward now, don't play safe. You are supported by the angels, by dragons, by spirits, by galactic beings, and they want you to move forward now because we are in a great life is a great adventure. We wouldn't be here at this moment in time if we weren't ready for this adventure. So take the risk, move forward. And, as the dragons were saying, listen to the spirit, listen to the guidance that you're being given, and you'll move forward so much easier. It will literally flow through. So yeah, I just love the way the cards always are sort of like come out. So, Ray, do you have any final thoughts or insights or words of wisdom you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Well, in terms of words of wisdom, I always like to share my favorite Dragon Crystal Guardian message, and that is from the collective themselves. So, in addition to there are individual members in the Dragon Crystal Guardian collective, there's also a collective, which is a consciousness unto itself. And this was one of the first messages, dragon messages I ever received. And it's still my favorite. And so this is what the Dragon Crystal Guardian Collective, who are the Dragon Crystal Guardians of Gaia, our planet, would like to share with humanity. Their message is unity. Humanity is divided by region, thought, belief, and inequality. You believe you are separate. You are not. You are all one. You are all spirit. And that's
Beautiful.
my favorite message to share because I feel like that's kind of a big message that the dragons want to share with humanity in general.
Yeah, no, that is an absolutely brilliant message. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful because I know I definitely have, and I've learned a lot more about dragons than I already knew. So if people want to connect with you, how do they do that? And do you have anything coming up or any free gifts offers you'd like to share?
Thank you. Yes, I have a free gift to share with people, and it is a booklet that I created called The 5 Steps to Connect and Commune with Your Own Dragon Spirit Guide. And you can get that free from my website. And my website is thedragonmystic.com. And there's a specific page where you can get my free booklet. It's thedragonmystic.com/gift. It's pretty simple. And it will help you with 5 easy steps to extend that invitation to your dragons, start connecting with them, and can start building that lifelong relationship with your dragon spirit guides so that they can support you on your spiritual evolution.
Beautiful. And I'm guessing you're on Facebook, Instagram, etc.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at the moment, and my website has all of my stuff, including where you can get my book, Dragon Wisdom. It is available on Amazon. It's the first place I put it, but it is now available on at most major book retailers, including Barnes and Noble and Walmart and Waterstones, Blackwell's. So, and it's available to order from most independent bookstores as well. You just have to ask for Dragon Wisdom by Vivyana, and most bookstores can order it now. And I haven't even announced that on my website or my email list or anything.
So there you go. First, a bit of off the press info.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And what I'll do is I'll put links in the comments after the show anyway and in the description so that people can just literally click on the link and go straight to your website and the free gift. So we will do that. So thank you so much, Viv, for sharing your journey and wisdom with us. It's been an absolute pleasure and an inspiring conversation. So thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure to be here. I told you I've been looking forward to this for a really long time,
Yeah,
and
me
it
too.
was
Me too.
wonderful.
And it all worked out at the most perfect timing. And thank you everyone who's joined us live today, and for those of you who've listened to the replay. And especially thank you to Teresa, who has been commenting all the way through. So do check out her comments. And of course, if you'd like to deepen your connection with the angels, then you can find my free 5-day angel connection journey linked in the description and comments. And you can also find details about the Angel Wings membership and the Soul Path Discovery program if you feel called to explore further. And if you enjoyed this episode, then you will love the other conversations in the Angels and Destiny playlist. It's filled with guidance, healing, and inspiring stories, support you on your spiritual journey. So do check it out now. And you might recognize one or two people that I've had as previous guests. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please don't forget to subscribe and click that bell button to be notified when this show goes live, or I post any guided meditations. And remember, every time you like, share, comment, and most importantly, watch anything I put out there, any of my guests put out there, you're really being part of that beautiful web of energy that's connecting everyone and creating a more beautiful space on earth for all of us. So please don't be shy to do that. And of course, don't forget to share this video for anyone who might need little angelic or dragon guidance today. And remember, you are never alone on your path. The angels are always with you. Take care. Bye.